On this week's show, the Power Rangers meet the heroes in a half shell, Donny Cates' Thor, and Batman vs. China. All that happening right now on PREVIEWSworld Weekly.
What's up, PREVIEWSworld? It's Wednesday, it's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for PREVIEWSworld Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're here every week to remind you guys to stop at a comic shop and get involved in what's happening in the world of comics. And of course, if you're first time watching the show right now, or you're enjoying it in general, be sure to give us a like, share, and follow to keep all the nerd news coming.
All right, straight up, I want to compliment you on these Boba Fett earrings, actually.
They're so tiny.
Because those are actually
Nobody
really
can
cool.
see
I don't know if you really probably can't see them.
But they're very little tiny.
But yeah, very subtle, and actually just very cool. It's this shit, by the way, in case you're wondering. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
I'm very pleased with them. I bought them, and I put them on, and I haven't taken them off
There
since.
you go. And then the Mandalorian looking over your shoulder.
And then I got like,
approving.
I'm all Star Wars out today.
There you go. I like it.
'Tis the season.
People seem to always comment on like your attire, so
Oh, yeah?
I figure I should call it out and just
I guess
like,
I don't pay attention to any of the comments on this show.
I can understand why you wouldn't do that, but our comments are actually pretty nice, actually. And like, we don't get a lot of trolls. So that either means we're doing something right or something wrong.
There was the incident.
There was the incident, but we never saw that guy again,
That's
so it's
true.
okay.
And it was a total troll account to begin with.
Yeah, it was, right, so whatever. But I did want to point out that the Black Widow trailer dropped yesterday, and yeah, I'm into this.
It looks really good.
It does look good, yeah.
The first thing that actually struck me was how much I liked the music that they had in it.
Right, yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that to be like the thing.
That catches
but
you.
also visually, all her costumes, everything that's, if you love Black Widow, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
You're going to like it a lot.
No, I hope that, I was actually joking with somebody just this past weekend that, until Winter Soldier, everybody was sort of like, oh, Captain America sucks, right? And, I kind of hope this movie will kind of, this will be the movie where people are like, oh, Black Widow's cool. Because I feel like there's still people who are just like, oh, she's just like an ornament of some sort or whatever. And it's like, no, she has
token lady hero kind of thing.
You know?
She has background. She has depth. And they even go into that in the Avengers movies.
They do, right, yeah. But it's such a, I won't even say it's such a subplot, but it's subtle in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. It's not a huge overarching plot by any means, but she has character development that they start with her background.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they end in Endgame, and she talks about it.
Yeah.
It's there. The thread of her existence runs through all those movies, and it's cool that they managed to do that, and now we get to see a big chunk of it.
Right, exactly, which is cool. I actually was telling my cousin, he does not like the Marvel movies at all. This is Thanksgiving talk in the Allen house. But he was trying to explain, I was trying to explain to him why the closure in Endgame was so satisfying for so many characters. And I actually pointed out the Black Widow thing and how it is very much an arc for her, over the course of Avengers and Winter Soldier and all this other stuff. But also, something I've pointed out before, but I told him, I was like, you also got to notice, she drives the plot of Avengers 2012.
Absolutely.
Her and Loki are the driving force of that entire plot. Rewatch the movie again. She is from the minute she's on screen all the way until the end. She actually saves the day.
Yep.
So, I'm just saying.
She's cool.
She's cool. She's a good character.
And she's important.
Yeah. Stop that. Cut it out. It was there was an SNL fake Black Widow trailer they did a few years ago when Scarlett Johansson was on the show, and they kind of poked fun of her role in the Avengers or whatever, and it was all in good fun. But
it's SNL, but when it all comes down to it, she's actually a really important character.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, I just want to get that out there because it looks cool, and I'm actually really happy that it looks cool.
Me too.
But I also wanted to point out something that the rumor mill this past week. Actually, I guess it wasn't a rumor really. It was pretty straight out.
Yeah.
DC had a cover for Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child #1. It's a one-shot by Frank Miller and Raphael Grandpa. I'm personally very excited to see Raphael Grandpa draw Batman. But one of the things the thing that happened here is apparently people kind of saw this as some sort of support of the Hong Kong protests against China.
Huh.
And look, Molotov cocktails have been used in protests for forever, so it's not really
the invention of the Molotov cocktail, basically.
But the reason I'm bringing this up because people are falsely reporting that DC is pulling the cover entirely, and that's not what they did. They took the cover off of social media, but there's no indication that this is not going to be the cover of the book when it actually hits stands. So yeah, the book is still slated to come out December 12th. There has been no like barrier for like that cover being featured on it. So, you know, I just want to get that out there.
And oh no, how is this comic being political? That's not a thing comics do.
Right, yeah. Well, there is that too. I mean, Frank Miller, I feel like, has a history of like kind of like being somewhat political and like not everything, but certain works by him.
Pushing the envelope.
Yeah, he definitely pushes the envelope. So yeah, it just
so surprising.
Right.
Political comics.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is like the most frustrating thing to me right now is these people that are like, why is all this politics? And then it's the folks that are not reading the comics but are watching all the shows.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Why is this show so political? That's not a comic thing. It's the comic thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's what comics were like, and always have been.
I got into it with somebody not too long ago about like. He was saying, why are the X-Men so political? And I'm like, if anything has been political, it is the X-Men. Like,
serious?
Like, and I mean, look, I can, we're going to go way off on a tangent here, but that's okay, whatever.
Really, y'all?
I can understand people's argument that they don't want modern day politics in everything they read. I totally understand that.
That's fair, me either.
And I'm also not one of those people that says comic books have always been political. They have not. They have not always been political.
No. Well, I mean, they haven't always strictly been political.
Exactly.
But there are comic books that have always been
political. Right, exactly. And X-Men is definitely one of them. Like, I would even argue that Captain America typically is always consistently political. Like,
he's punching Nazis.
He started off punching Nazis. Like, you know, I think there's a story in the 70s where Richard Nixon is the villain. It's not, you know.
They do the politics thing.
But in this particular case, like, I think people, like, it's actually the reverse of that. It's people were looking into this and making associations to something that's actively happening right now.
Yeah.
And there's no way that Frank Miller, well, I mean, I guess Hong Kong and China have been going at it since the late 90s. Yeah. But like, there's no way that... the likelihood of that being directly about the Hong Kong protests
is not high.
Yeah, not high. So, yeah. I say all this to say, the cover's still on. The cover's still on. It's still happening.
It's a really cool cover.
It's a cool cover.
Beautiful piece of artwork.
Yeah, and Raphael Grandpa's awesome. I love his stuff. I was so excited to hear that he's doing this Batman book. So, also, I found out that actually that's Carrie Kelly in the costume, who's actually the Robin in Dark Knight Returns. So, some interesting things there. That. Yeah, I'm very curious about where this is going.
Very cool, very cool.
But rant's over. We went into a lot of like different directions there.
We went in hard on that one.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever. You know.
Hi guys.
Gets a little loose in here sometimes. That's all right. But Enemy is here, and actually we're gonna have Enemy later on the show. She's gonna show us what's at comic shops today. Check this out.
Hey Previews World, every week we give you the rundown of some of the books hitting the shelves for the first time. Here's what's at comic shops for the week of December 4th, 2019. And we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer, so stop at a shop already, and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya!
As always, thank you, Mia, and of course that's just a little bit of what's available at your local comic shop this week. If you want to see a full list, head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases and you can see what you can get into. What are you reading?
The Mask and the Iron Man.
Ooh.
There's a omnibus that's out this week, and it's collecting like not just this story, but several other stories by Frank Tieri and Joe Quesada and a couple others.
Cool.
This one, I was certain that they would make this into an Iron Man movie one day.
Yeah.
Because basically Tony just keeps upgrading his suits, and ultimately he has a sentient suit.
Ooh.
And the sentient suit is kind of like, it's in love with him, which is interesting and weird.
Ooh.
And then it wants to merge with him.
Ooh.
And so it's really like, it's not that outside of what they did with Ultron in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's really interesting to it was an interesting story. It's probably in my estimation, a modern Iron Man classic that doesn't actually get talked about enough.
Yeah.
And like, it was just cool. Like, it was one of the first books I read that was like, oh, Iron Man. Okay. Yeah, I get
there
it.
he is.
Right. So like, and also I think it was the first time I kind of feel like this is the first time that they really leaned into sassy Tony Stark. Like he was always kind of a smart mouth, and like a lot of people say, oh, the movies made him different. No, he's always been kind of a smart mouth, but this is like Robert Downey leveled sass.
There
this
you
was
go.
like the first time that I saw that on page. So
Nice.
yeah, the Mask and Iron Man is a little expensive, but it's also just a really cool collection of like, I think it's something like 20 issues of like an Iron Man run. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
check it out.
There
It's
you
cool.
go. There you go.
What are you looking forward to this week?
Here we go, guys. Another big surprise. I'm bringing it back. Die number 10.
Okay.
I love this book.
Yeah, good.
It's so good, and it's beautiful, and the characters are great. So this is the end of a storyline or story arc that's been going on called Split the Party, which last time I said, of course, we know is never a good idea. And their little tagline for this one is "Forget about escaping, die."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just give up.
Just give up, guys. You're stuck. That's where
Right.
you live now.
No.
But yeah, no, it's from Kieran Gillen, of course, we know is my favorite, and Stephanie Hans does the artwork, and it's, I love it.
No, good. That's awesome. No, I know when this book comes in trade, I'm going to read it because like the concept alone is just really appealing. So, yeah, and points for consistency because hey, it means you actually really like it.
That's
you know?
true. I'm actually reading it.
You're actually reading it. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. My other pick this week, I'm very curious about this. I guess this isn't much of a surprise either. Like we've talked numerous times about Marvel integrating Conan into the Marvel universe. Conan Serpent War is out this week.
Cool.
And it's doubly cool because like there is a connection between Seth, who's like the god of some Egyptian god. I can't remember his name right now, but what his purpose is. But he's an Egyptian god. He's about to like basically take over the world, and so what they're doing is they're bringing Moon Knight, who has a connection to Egyptian gods as well,
Yeah.
and of course Conan, who was just like a ancient barbarian character, into the mix. But on top of that, they're bringing Solomon Kane, who was actually a favorite Robert E. Howard character of mine, and actually a character I don't know a lot about, which is Dark Agnes. Which is another Robert E. Howard, apparently like a posthumous creation of Robert E. Howard.
Oh.
So yeah, like
Very
it's,
nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's Jim Zub, who did Skull Kickers and a couple other books. He has a tendency to make like really fun, like entertaining stuff. Scott Eaton is an artist on it. Yeah, just proof of concept. They said they were going to put Conan in the Marvel universe,
Here he
and they are fully committing to it. It's just another example of that. So.
I love it.
Any big ticket items that people should keep an eye out for?
Well, I still have one more pick.
Yeah, one more pick. That's right.
Trying to steal my
Almost
picks.
Sorry, my bad.
So often you do that, and I'm like,
Nope, my bad.
So this is something that I've definitely slept on, and it looks really cool, and I'm very interested in it. Dark Arc. So this is the hardcover, volume 1.
Okay, yeah.
From Aftershock, which I know we all enjoy in general. So this is Cullen Bunn and Juan Doe, and it's sort of like the Nega Noah's Ark.
Right, yeah.
So there's a sorcerer named Shrey, and he's been, at the same time as Noah, has been commanded by God to create the ark and take the animals 2 by 2. Shrey has been commanded to do that with the unnatural creatures of the world. So like vampires and dragons and Naga and Manticore and all this sort of thing. So then it's sort of like, well, how's that going to go with all these critters on this vessel while the whole earth is being flooded? They're stuck in there together. And
it's a house of horrors.
Yeah, absolutely a house of horrors.
Hey,
Nailed it.
I'm actually surprised I got that out. So it's like
Say it 10 times fast. But yeah, so this is issues 1 through 15.
Yeah.
And it looks really fun.
No, that's
and the artwork also, like.
Yeah, Wando, he has a very specific style, and it's like I think it's really fitting for this book. Yeah, that concept. Like I remember the first time I heard about that, I was like, oh man, I want to read this. So yeah, no, that's a cool one.
There you go. The time is now.
Also, time is now for actually big ticket items.
Hey.
Like not just our picks this week. Some things you keep an eye out for. First off, we asked this question, never got an answer. Is it supposed to be 2020 or 20XX? I don't know. But, I mean, maybe the double X is for chromosomes? I don't know. I have no idea. But, no, this is not a ringing endorsement. But look, it's from Jonathan Luna, who gave us Ultra, which was a great book. It's also Lauren Kelly, who's like joining him on this title. He also did Ultra, he did Girls. He's done a bunch of really great sci-fi books. And this is like the issue 1 from Image Comics.
Yeah. Now we have to read it to make up for our idiocy.
I know, yeah, sorry guys.
But I do want to read it.
Right.
Honestly, it looks gorgeous. I'm really interested in what's going on here, so
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, and he's also got a good eye for like sci-fi, but also sci-fi with like horror elements. Like there's a lot of really gross stuff in girls.
You're right.
And so like, yeah, just definitely something to check out this week.
Yeah.
What other big ticket items should people
So
look
this
for?
is a fun little throwback bit. This is a crossover, and it's Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So this is number 1, and it's from Ryan Parrott and Simone DeMeo.
Nice.
Which, of course, the cover is, I forget who the artist is on the cover, but it's really fun. And I love the modern turtles and everything. It's good. Anyway, so the Power Rangers have to make a little trip to New York City to try and find Tommy, who's the Green Ranger. And they find out that he's joined up with Shredder and the Foot Clan.
Yeah, right. Interesting
so
twist.
then they have, I guess there's like a tussle
Of course.
between the Rangers and the Turtles, because they're all sort of like, not sure about each other, and so there's sort of like a frenemy kind of thing going on there.
Right.
And they end up having to try and team up together to get involved with the usual Shredder trouble.
Machinations.
Yeah.
No, like that looks like a fun one. And like I apparently there is a history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers like teaming up.
Yeah.
Like I guess like they've done it a couple times on the TV show, I want to say.
Okay.
I think they were both owned by Saban at one point in time. I could be wrong about that, so that might have been why it happened. But it seems like a kind of like a super obvious thing to do. Like, yeah, like
definitely fun.
Yeah. The cover artist is Dan Mora, who does Santa Claus.
Yep.
Right. So or Klaus, which is with Grant Morrison. So yeah, great artist.
Yeah.
But time for a contest. Look at that. We got you early this time. You
Oh,
guys didn't expect that, did you?
tricked ya.
Well, actually, if you looked at social media, you probably would expect it.
Oh.
But we're doing a giveaway this week, and what are we giving away? Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all, this thing is hefty.
It is, yeah.
It is beautiful. So we have the Saga Compendium.
Yeah.
And it sure is a compendium.
It is, yeah.
So, of course, if you guys want to win this beautiful book right here, hit us up on social media and let us know, have you read Saga? And if not, why? What's your problem? Come on. And we'll pick one of you guys to win. Take entries until next week.
Yeah. And I like this literally is from the beginning of the series up until the most recent, fairly recent, I think it was this year, hiatus that they took. So this is a great chance to catch up. Like you've been hearing about it, it's critically acclaimed, it's won so many awards, and now's a good time to catch up. So definitely go ahead and enter comment to win and tell us what's your problem. So actually, it just so happens that we are bookended here by the previews cover.
It's true.
Right? Actually, no. I take that back. We're supposed to do a winner, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay. We'll do that first. How about that? I feel like the winner would like to know if they won.
They probably would.
Yeah.
And we're terrible and almost forget this almost every week.
Every week.
We have to work on this. There are people out there that want their stuff.
They do. It's true.
So,
yes.
The winner for last week's prize of the Captain Marvel animated figurine is Stockton Ellis Fong, who answered our question of who is
Binary.
binary,
Yeah.
thank you, with Carol Danvers when she levels up with cosmic powers.
Accurate.
So there you go, Stockton. You win that fabulous little figurine.
There you go. Awesome. Now, for real this time. For real again. A lot of false starts today. Sorry, guys. We're booking it by the catalog for December. And it just so happens that Gretchen does a video every single month where she just gives you an overview of what you'd expect inside the previous catalog. So check this out. Here's what you can pick up, just some of what you can pick up inside previews this month.
Hey Previews World, Gretchen here reminding you that December's Previews catalog is in comic shops right now. This month, our front cover highlights Alienated, issue number 1, a subversive coming-of-age story centered around 3 teens and one unearthly creature. They consider it a pet at first, but this is actually a super predator, and it needs prey. And if you flip your December previews over, you'll discover the Disney Plus hit The Mandalorian is getting its own 3D resin bust. Inside, with the Dawn of X officially here, you'd think Wolverine would get a break. Unfortunately, death and destruction always follows him, and Logan must once again draw his claws in a new solo series by Benjamin Percy and Adam Kubert. Also available this month, Viz Media rolls out Transformers, the manga. Originally released in Japan, this unique take is finally coming here, presented in hardcover volumes. Also, keep an eye out for the From the Archives icon throughout the pages of this month's previews. What's From the Archives for? It's an omnibus, a deluxe edition, or just a straight-up massive hardcover collecting some of comics' most treasured stories, some of which will be available to order in time for the gift-giving season. And of course, there's more. Dark Horse closes out the Predator Hunters trilogy with a new miniseries. Sonic's Tangle and Whisper gets collected, 1000 Toys celebrates the 30th anniversary of Ronin Warriors, and read the manga that inspired Netflix's High Score Girl anime. There's over 500 pages of eye candy inside this month's catalog, and we're going to be taking a look at some of them all month long. So play along. Go pick up a copy of the December's previews at your local comic shop today, or check out all the items available to pre-order by heading over to previewsworld.com/catalog.
And that was a look inside the December catalog, and I always want to reiterate this, that these are items that are coming in February, because we're always 2 months ahead. So you're literally pre-ordering stuff that you can pick up in a couple months, and check with your local comic shop to just find out what their pre-ordering process, but ultimately you tell them the name of the thing you want, and then you just wait, you know? And so, yeah, ask your local comic shop for further details, and pre-order, because
Absolutely.
that's the way you support them. That's the best way to support your local comic shop.
Yes, it is.
But now it's time for news.
Fact.
So Thea is going to take over, and she's going to talk about some of the big things that have happened in the world of comics in the last 7 days. Check this out.
In collaboration with Dynamite, Christopher Priest is celebrating Black History Month and paying tribute to the contributions of creators of color on his Vampirella run. As Christopher Priest's acclaimed run on Vampirella has continued on, the veteran writer and editor is constantly working closely with Dynamite, brewing new ideas to engage the comic book community of fans, retailers, and press. For February's Vampirella number 8, Priest thought of a symbolic way to pay tribute to an under-recognized and underutilized portion of creators and fans. Priest and editor Matt Idelson carefully assembled a team comprised of Dennis Cohen, Aletha Martinez, Mark Beecham, and Afua Richardson to contribute covers inspired by a simple premise. They were asked to imagine creating the daughter of Draculon back in 1969 as if her appearance was inspired by African-American women rather than the Betty Page and Barbarella vein that James Warren, Forrest J. Ackerman, Frank Frazetta, and Trina Robbins ended up tapping into. On that note, Vampirella number 8 is slated for release in February of next year.
Awesome.
I'm actually really excited about that.
Yeah.
And the covers, they're nice.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous.
There's that watercolor one that we showed first, and I was like, oh, that looks cool.
Yeah. Definitely awesome artwork.
I'm sure it's not actually watercolor, but it's probably digital.
Yeah, nowadays, you're right. Next up, renowned for its action-packed approach to horror, Hellsing is gruesome fun turned up to 11. The international sensation returns in deluxe hardcover editions, collecting Kota Hirano's manga masterpiece for the first time in its original 7x10 serialized format. With supernatural horrors haunting the streets and preying upon humanity, the shadowy Hellsing organization fights back against Hell's minions. And Hellsing has a secret weapon in their arsenal, the vampire lord Alucard, whose terrifying powers are needed more than ever as an army of the undead marches on London beneath the banner of the swastika. The Hellsing Deluxe Edition Volume 1 will show up on comic shop shelves July 1st, 2020. Before Vin Diesel's Bloodshot hits theaters on February 21st, the explosive Bloodshot number 0 offers the perfect introduction to Valiant's super soldier. New York Best Times selling writer Tim Seeley is joined by the incredible artist Mark Lamming to unleash a gripping adventure that reveals the origin of Bloodshot's brand new mission. The book will also serve as the 150th issue of Bloodshot. And with the nanite-infused hero making his big screen debut in February, it's going to be a great month for Bloodshot fans. Bloodshot issue number 0 is on sale February 19th, 2020, with colors by Andrew Dahlhaus, letters by Dave Sharp, and features covers by Roberto de la Torre, Ramon F. Bax, and Francis Portela. And finally, when giant-size X-Men hits stands next year, X-Men fans will get to see Jonathan Hickman's bold vision for mutant kind unfold in epic adventures told by the industry's most acclaimed artists. These large-scale but standalone stories will be specifically designed to highlight the artist's talents, and each issue will focus on a specific character. This March, Hickman will team up with legendary artist Ben Oliver to turn the spotlight on the master of magnetism, Magneto. Created by Stan Lee himself, Magneto's been a fixture in the X-Men mythos since the very beginning. Although he debuted in 1963's X-Men #1 as the X-Men's premier supervillain, he eventually became one of their fiercest members. Uniting Jonathan Hickman with the best artists in the industry, these stories are destined to be instant classics that fans won't want to miss. Giant-size X-Men Magneto will be the second of 5 essential one-shots, with the first giant-size X-Men Jean Grey and Emma Frost debuting in February.
Needless to say, I'm actually really amped for these.
Me too. I'm super excited.
Yeah,
particularly since it's like super artist focused.
Yeah,
like,
right. Different
the
one.
giant size is for a reason, so you get all the detail work of the conceptually so cool. And all these little like one shots with these characters are fun too.
And I feel like this is the type of X-Men story that lends itself. Like I think it took me a second to kind of get used to this new landscape that they've established, but like it's become clearer and clearer after I've read it. Like at least the #1 of each of these new X titles.
Yeah.
Like it's intended to be more of a day in the life treatment than like an event.
I like that.
So like now that we've had the new status quo for the X-Men, now what you're getting is a lot of snapshots of what this reality is for them, which is I actually really appreciate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for this giant size series. Like I'm already there. So now it's time for toys.
Yeah.
Natasha's here, and she's going to show you what's available at your local comic shop today, but in the toy section. Check this out.
Hey Previews World, here's this week's rundown of some of the toys, statues, and collectibles hitting store shelves for the first time. Let's take a look inside the Previews toy chest for the week of December 4th, 2019. That's not all. Before heading to your local comic shop, be sure to check out PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. There you'll find a complete rundown of everything a toy collector could possibly want.
Thanks, Natasha. And if you're looking for more from the toy section of your local comic shop, then head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/toy chest. Now, normally this is the point where we would give a toy prize, but we already did a prize earlier in the show, and actually we have something better than a prize. Actually, we have Anna-Mia. Actually, I guess Mia would be a prize, right?
Yeah, I'm a prize.
Is it objectifying? Right? I don't know. Thea agrees.
Yeah, friend prize.
Yay! Our friend prize, yeah. The prize of friendship. There you go. So you're here to make an announcement.
Yep.
And like we've kind of floated this already online, but like officially, you're hosting something. What is it and what is it called?
I am. It's a brand new show. It's called The Panel. It is a book club show. So we're going to be picking a new book every month, giving everyone a chance to read it, and then coming together for a show where we talk about in-depth on the art, the story, other points. So really fun way to get introduced to some new comics and have a discussion.
I love that.
Nice.
Very, very good. So, of course, what book is going to be the focus of the first episode here?
So the first one, we actually opened it up to a vote from people, and they all voted on Batman Hush. Yeah. So it's a mighty read. Go ahead and pick it up from your local store or your comic shop and get ready to read on it and get ready for the discussion.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I always want to point this out. There's a point of contention with this one because I got outvoted on this. But I mean, like we floated Paper Girls, we floated Star Wars by Jason Aaron, and Batman Hush was like, I won't say like just like overwhelmingly the winner, but definitely people just like have a vested interest in people talking about this. I also think it's a good one because it's a murder mystery too. So that's actually
fun.
Yeah, right. Like so much of it hinges on the outcome.
Yeah.
So will there be prizes for this episode?
There will be.
For the first episode?
There will be. So the Batman Hush, oh God, I can't think of the word.
Unwrapped.
Oh,
Unwrapped. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's all the artwork, from the comic book. Really nice collector's edition. So something really fun for someone who really likes the comic series.
Yeah.
Super fans, super fans. So when is it going to be coming out?
So you're going to want to look out for it in January of next year. We're working on it and plugging away, and we'll have that to you in January.
Nice. And this is something we've been floating for about over a year, I want to say, because I remember you pitched this idea probably late 2018.
Yeah.
And we've been sitting on it ever since. So it's really cool that we're about to do this, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool. Not just because I don't have to do anything for this one.
No obligations, no responsibilities.
Right.
All on me,
get to
that's
goof
all
around.
right. No, but it'll be fun. I'm really excited to have people kind of find a new series that they like. It's going to be a great way for people to get introduced to a new comic or a new artist that they like to follow or a writer. So really excited to see the discussions coming out of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the discussion.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So definitely keep a track of PREVIEWSworld.com. We're going to have a page that's going to be specifically about the panel, and we'll of course feature that month's book because this is a monthly show, of course. And then we'll also highlight our guests and whatnot, and all the other people that are going to be joining on the show. So definitely keep an eye out for that in January. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I should be telling them that, but that's okay. So time for a trailer. One of the big books coming out at the top of January is actually Thor by Donny Cates and company. Check this out. Go inside the making of Thor #1 from Marvel Comics.
If you've read anything that I've ever done, you know that I like to dive deep into mythology, into lore, into gods. And now I get to play with them and build them up and build their mythology out and break all of them.
It's picking up from Jason's run, but it's new reader friendly. You come in and you just need to know that Thor's the All-Father of Asgard now. Loki is in it.
For as long as I've known Donny Cates, I've known that he's wanted to write Thor. He has coveted this book. He's a character that's been around in Marvel forever, and you think you've seen it all. And Jason Aaron took him in different places than where Walt Simonson took him, than where Stan and Jack took him. But Donny has this unique mind and this unique take, doing things with Thor on such a scale that it's unimaginable.
I try and pull out all the stops and make things just as big and as loud as I can.
There's some big secrets built into this Thor story, this first arc. Thor's new look that you see on the first cover, that's all kind of something that you're gonna have to wait and read one to find out.
Donny's ideas are so big, we had to look for a penciler who could live up to what those scripts, what we knew that they were going to be. And in the end, it came down to Nick Klein. He's the only guy that we knew could live up to the action, to the adventure, and to these seismic scripts that Donny is turning in.
Nick is such a brilliant actor, as well as just doing some of the most beautiful thunder and lightning and war and wrath that you've ever seen.
He's taken Donny's scripts and just blown them up and really infused them with a lot of crazy passion and energy and detail.
You know, they say that comics, the only limit is the limit of the writer and the artist's imagination. There is no limit to Donny's imagination, and there is no limit to where he's going to be taking Thor in this new series.
I find him at the top of his game. He has everything. And now he's sitting on his throne, kind of thinking about what happens tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is me and Nick Klein, and tomorrow is gonna be real, real bad.
And that was a look inside Thor #1 from Marvel Comics, and I'm very curious about this because as someone who's read both his Venom and his Carnage and his Guardians of the Galaxy book, clearly Thor is a space character, right? I'm very curious if this is going to tie into any of his other stuff or if it's just a standalone thing. I'm not sure, but look forward to that. It's coming in the next month or so. And we're almost done.
Yeah.
That's kind of it for this show.
Down to the end of it.
Down to the end of it.
But of course,
we
have Comic Shop Shout Out.
There you go.
So as usual, if you guys want to have your favorite local comic shop shouted out on the show, let us know what they are. Hit us up on social media, wherever you can find us. Use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS, and you could get a feature. This week, we are featuring Galactic Comics, good Lord, Thea, in Florence, South Carolina. And this was sent in by Aaron Dallin, and I like that he said that they've been incredibly supportive of our small press company. Great to deal with, and their in-store selection is incredible.
And they have a Silver Surfer in the middle of the store.
They do.
Which is the second time I've seen that, but
It's still really cool.
It's still really cool.
It's classic. You can't not like that.
Right, yeah.
Super shiny mans.
No. So shout out to Galactic Comics and shout out to us because we're done.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us this week, guys. This has been Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the spinner rack.